Good morning. We're about to get started. All right, so before we start, just want to say we measured before we started, and there is 6 feet distance. There's more than 6 feet distance between the speaker and the ASL interpreter, so we can take our masks off while we're at the podium. But please wear it while you're on your way up here, since we'll be close. All right. So good morning and welcome. My name is Caleb Roberts. I'm a communications coordinator for the 2018 Bond program. Welcome to Stevens Middle School's groundbreaking ceremony. We're here to celebrate the start of bond-funded construction for the Bulldogs. In 2018, the communities of Salem-Keizer passed a nearly $620 million bond to help relieve overcrowding and prepare for future enrollment growth, to expand our program spaces for science and career and technical education, also sometimes referred to as vocational education, to increase safety and security, including seismic safety, and to maintain our community's investment in the school facilities and buildings. The bond is improving schools across the entire district, and Stevens is one of the first to begin in 2021, this year. So before we get started with our event, I'd like to recognize and thank a couple of elected officials for being here today. Salem City Councilor Virginia Stapleton. We'll hear from her in just a moment. Thank you for being here. And Salem-Keizer School Board Director Jesse Leopold-Pion. Thank you for being here. He represents Board Zone 5. So, and with that, please join me in welcoming our very first speaker to the podium, Salem Councilor Virginia Stapleton.
Good morning. Thank you so much. I want to first start off with a land acknowledgement. We are gathered on the land of the Kalapuya, who today are represented by the Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde, the Confederated Tribes of the Siletz Indians, whose relationship with the land continues to this day. We offer gratitude for the land itself, for those who have stewarded it for generations, and for the opportunity to learn, study, work, and be in community on this land. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. Like was mentioned, I'm Virginia Stapleton, and I represent Ward 1 here in the city of Salem. This is my first groundbreaking, and I'm so excited that it's here at a middle school because we are a first-year middle school family this year. My oldest daughter is now in 6th grade at Parish Middle School, and we are loving it. I will say I cannot wait for next year to get the full experience, but it is such a unique time in our lives, and so really great to be here at Stevens and take part in this as my family also ventures into this new kind of age and era in our family. And this project, of course, as mentioned, was because of the bond that was approved in 2018. And as I was preparing for this speech, I was remembering the night that we were all waiting for the results. And we were at a budget committee meeting, which I served on the budget committee for the school board at the time. And I remember just the feeling in the air of anticipation and excitement and, of course, nerves, that underlying, did I do everything possible to make this work? And, of course, later that night, learning the results was fantastic, and everybody was celebrating. And it really shows the commitment that our community is making, the belief in public education, to our public schools, and to our young families here in our communities as we invest in education, invest in our kiddos. So the work that we've been completed so far has been in 14 different schools. It's hard to imagine. With COVID, time has warped, and so it's all just kind of blurring together. But the amazing fact that we're going to start construction on 17 schools here in the town in 2021 is amazing. I'm sure all of you feel that energy in town, so much construction going on all over the place, and so it really does give a vibrant feel to the city. And as mentioned, one of the promises was to increase science education and opportunities in secondary schools in the district. And this science education and career technical education is so important for our young folks. It's vital for students to have access to science as they discover their unique gifts and interests and talents. And here at Stevens, students will be preparing for high school in a new 21st century science space, which is just phenomenal news and so exciting as we move forward as a community. I also want to thank everybody who made this possible, from the very beginnings of the ideas of going for this bond to preparing for all of that, for shepherding it through the process and handing it off to so many others to carry through the work, to all the work that's being done at the district administrative level, to the teachers and students who are being patient with the work as it progresses, and to all of our construction crews that are on the job sites making this a reality for us. I pray for your safety over the coming years and that it all goes smoothly and that we can complete these projects and really dive into the future as a community. And I would like to ask up our next speaker, and that's Board Director Jesse Lippo-Pion III. And Jesse, I have known for a while now. I met him at the Budget Committee and have been friends ever since. Thank you, Jesse, for your service to our community. Thank you for the love and care you show for all of the kids and for the community as a whole. We are blessed to have you and further just a great community, and I'm looking forward to see what's next for you. Thank you so much.
Hey, good morning, neighbors. My name is Jesse Lippo-Pion III, and I am the school board director for Zone 5 for Salem-Keizer Public Schools. A lot of times I've been asked throughout my last 4 years of public service locally, around the state and around the country, as I've been advocating for our students, Jesse, how would you define equity? And that's an important question, because equity is something that the district we take very, we think of very strongly, between trying to look through everything within our equity lens and make sure that we're applying it to everything that we do. And so when I was asked that originally, I used to always think of this common quote: if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach a man a fish, you feed him for a lifetime. As I've grown as a leader, as I've gotten to know many of our students and been deeply involved within our community, I realized that there's a problem with this quote. You can't learn to fish without a fishing pole, fishing line, bait, or a fishing license. In education, it's our job to ensure that all kids first have a fish to eat, because it's hard to learn when you're hungry. Second, to ensure that all kids have the tools that they need so that way we can teach them. And then we teach them how to fish so that way they can eat for a lifetime. That's equity. This bond goes even further than what I was just saying, because by investing in our schools, we're providing not just the tools, but a safe and welcoming learning environment. It's a safe place so that way we can teach our kids to fish for a lifetime. This bond is a huge investment into our kids, an investment in our future, and a true testament to the values of our community. I'm happy to join you to celebrate this great moment and share in the excitement for all the wonderful new changes coming to Stevens Middle School. Now, I want to share a message with you that speaks to the importance of our growing relationships with our communities. The Indian Education Department, in collaboration with the district's Indian Education Parent Advisory Committee, which I now serve on the board for, has prepared a land acknowledgement that the district will use at all of our public events. I will now read this acknowledgement. Acknowledgement is critical in building the necessary trust to coexist in harmony with one another. Indigenous tribes and bands have been apparent in the lands of the Willamette Valley, across Oregon, and throughout the Americas since time immemorial. In this valley, the Kalapuya reaches the furthest back in time, reminding us that this plentiful place has been called home by my ancestors, its original inhabitants, long before the names of the snowy peaks and bountiful waters were re-identified. Today we acknowledge that the people of this land still exist, and we inhabit this valley, not as heirs to it or artifacts, but as reciprocal contributors to the modern society that we live in. We forward our respect to my people, the first peoples of this land, the 9 federally recognized tribes of Oregon, and those who have ceded lands here. we reflect on the displacement, removal, and genocide of indigenous people that occurred throughout Oregon and beyond. In so doing, we truly honor the gravity of the past and endeavor to see that people may live in harmony and equity on this land for posterity. May this acknowledgement carry resonance as a tool of peace over the land and waters we mutually rely upon. Please join us in uncovering such truths at any and all public events. I just want to say thank you for supporting our students, our district in this bond. This couldn't have happened without you guys. I mean, huge thanks to the district, to our other school board members for knocking on the doors, for all the groups who came out to help us pass this bond. It couldn't have happened without you guys. I can't wait to see all of the improvements once everything is built here at Stevens. And now I would like to invite the man, the myth, the legend, Chief Operations Officer Mike Wolf to the podium to say a few words.
Thanks, buddy. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I appreciate it. Well, I'm sorry to let everybody down, but I'm Mike Wolf, Chief Operations Officer for the district, and this really is an exciting time for our district, and in particular for the Stevens community. And there are a lot of people who it's my pleasure to acknowledge all of the efforts that have gone in to get us where we are. For those of you who don't know, you start this process, we started in about 2014. So it gives you a sense of what it takes to get to this day. And we couldn't have gotten where we are without so many people being involved. And so I'd like to start by just acknowledging Joel Smallwood and his team. Joel couldn't be here today. He's our Director of Construction and Maintenance Services. They're doing incredible work, along with Day CPM, who's our partner in program project management, and Bob Collins and his team. So it's really, it's a team of both private and public partnership, and it's working exceedingly well for us. We also have the Senior Project Manager, Frank Berg, from Day CPM, and Joe Bonanno. Joe, are you here? There you go. Somebody. All right. Nice. We really appreciate all the diligence. This is, as mentioned before, this is the busiest year in our program, and it's no small task to get this project off on time and to stay on schedule. And the architects are BBL, and do we have Dan Vasquez? Can you raise your hand, Dan? Thank you. Super good partnership as well. And the general contractor, you talk about the man, the myth, the legend, that would be Lee. And Lee, you're going to hear from Lee in just a little bit here. We could not do what we do without our partnership, and Pence has been just an excellent, excellent partner. Next, I'd like to, so many people went the extra mile to get here. Both Piccoon and Yes for Salem-Keizer Schools, PAC, worked extremely hard. You don't get to this place without a ton of community involvement, right? Because this is a huge commitment for the Salem-Keizer community. And so literally knocking on thousands of doors and passing out volumes and volumes of information got us to the point where we are. And so thank you for all of those who were instrumental in passing this bond. It's certainly essential to have community support, and we certainly feel supported. Ultimately, these investments, and it was mentioned that this was originally a $620 million bond. I have to say, Carmen, I'm going off script just a second, that we are now looking at potentially being closer to an $800 million bond with investments and financial management for the district. So huge investment. These facilities will be meeting the needs of the district for the next 10, 15, and in some cases 20 years, which is phenomenal. So much appreciated. And the next speaker is Nancy McMorris-Audix, who's the co-chair, one of three co-chairs for our Community Bond Oversight Committee. But I also want you to know that she was previous board chair of our school board and was instrumental. Her leadership got us to where we are today, because there was a transition, right? The election, just like we're going through now, in the board, and there would have been a new board, new members coming on. Nancy was instrumental in making sure that the continuity of leadership was so strong that this bond would move forward. And I super appreciate that so much. And also now, like I said, she serves as a co-chair on the Community Bond Oversight Committee. So Nancy was involved from concept, inception, through implementation, which is what you see here today. So let's give a hand for Nancy as she comes up to the podium.
Good morning. Do I need to lower this? Good morning. My name is Nancy McMorris-Oddix, and it's a pleasure to be here today representing the Yes for Salem-Keizer Schools Committee and the Committee Bond Oversight Committee. I'm excited to be here at Stevens because my good friend Linda Beersley teaches science here and has been part of the school-based design team. So I've been hearing about this project and the excitement about it at Stevens over the new changes from the very beginning. We're now in the third year of the construction under the 2018 bond. I'm happy to see us reach this point, having been part of the process since the beginning. In the early stages, we examined the needs of our schools with the Yes for Salem-Keizer Schools Committee. And now, as part of the Community Bond Oversight Committee, it's amazing to see the work and dedication come to fruition. The bond is important because it allows us to significantly improve the facilities that are supporting our children and their education. A key influence for learning is the environment. The bond reflects our community's commitment to provide safe, inspiring, productive environments for students to learn and grow across the district. When Salem and Keizer passed the bond, they said yes to relief for overcrowding, increased seismic safety, and expanded opportunities for science and career and technical education, which means providing unique spaces to prepare the future workforce. Passing the bond was a community-wide effort, and there are many people to thank for all their hard work. I want to thank the community for their support and involvement throughout the process. From focus groups to listening sessions to sharing feedback and input, the community's voice was woven all through the bond. And last, I'm confident to say that we wouldn't be here without the support of PCUN. PCUN knocked on thousands of doors and was instrumental in getting word out to voters of the importance of this bond. Thank you for your dedication. Now, I'd like to invite Lee Zumwalt, the Senior Project Manager from LCG Pence, forward.
Thank you, Nancy, for the introduction. I'm Lee Zumwalt from Pence Construction, and I just want to start first by talking about the team that we've been able to join. As a builder, you face a lot of different challenges putting together a project, and the stresses can be very high, they can be very low, they can be everywhere in between, but to continue to be able to join a team with this school district that we know, that we can trust, I'm constantly giving positive shout outs to the management team at the school district that runs the construction work. Joel Smallwood's team has been fantastic to work with. They're very professional. But specifically, I'm going to give Joe Bonanno another shout out. Joe, raise your hand and wave to everybody. Joe is our direct project manager from the school district. We've done projects together in the past, and I would just say that Joe adds a level of consistency and a level of predictability and smoothness in the way that he manages. So for us to be able to come back to a team and do another project with the district and work with somebody as consistent and solid as Joe, my blood pressure drops about 10 points when that happens. I also want to shout out BBL, the design team for this project. They have been hugely professional. The design is well coordinated. They're on top of their game, and they're doing a fantastic job. So Dan Vasquez, you deserve another shout out. You're doing great work, and we really appreciate being able to work with you on the job. So from a local involvement standpoint, the majority of our trades that'll be on this project come from the local community. That's a huge win for us. It's a huge personal win for me to be able to drive 15 minutes and be at the job site, because sometimes it's an hour and a half to get to a job site. So that's always fun. But as a parent who's had students in the school district here, it's very rewarding. We've got a local team also running the work. Jennifer Fowles, who's on our team out here, is our lead point person, project engineer. Jennifer grew up in this community, and we've been swapping stories about going to school at South, Salem High School, which I've now remodeled twice personally. And so Jennifer is looped in, and she's our lead point person here on site. So Jennifer, wave your hand. She's a key member of our team as well. A few highlights about the construction specifically. If you look to your left, you see, I'm sorry, we got started before the groundbreaking. I hope that's all right. But we wanted to get this new cafeteria addition built as quickly as possible. That's a huge part of what we're doing for this school, getting more space for the kids to get together and grow together and have room to be able to eat their lunch and work together in that open space. And we know that's a huge contribution to how it's going to flow at the school district. At the west end of the project, or of the building, we're going to add a new classroom addition. That's going to add new science laboratories and new classroom space, and that's also going to be a huge addition to the way they use the school facility. Fun fact and figure about the project, there will be 252 tons of steel put into the project. That's coming from a fabricator in Newburgh, and they've been a great member of the team, and we're excited. Here in a few weeks, we're going to start seeing steel show up to the job site. So all in all, it's a wonderful project. We've been so thankful to be a member of the team again on another local project. And lastly, I want to mention David Wood, our principal for this school, has been wonderful to work with so far, has rolled up his sleeves and helped us solve challenges right out the gate, and we couldn't do it without that kind of partnership. So a big shout out to the team here at the school, and with that, I'll introduce David.
Hi, good morning. I'm David Wood. I'm the principal at Stevens. And man, I can't tell you how excited we are to be starting with these improvements underway already, as you can see. And with more getting started as soon as school lets out. All the planning that went into this construction for our school and the community will finally begin to take shape over the next year, and we're excited to tell you about that. There are so many people to thank for who worked to get our project going to this point. Last year, a team of Stevens staff members were closely involved in the beginning stages of the design process. This team of staff came together and worked with the architects and district construction management team. We discussed how the design of the new construction, including locations of the new spaces, other renovations inside the building, could best support the needs of our students. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank those staff members for their critical thinking and their input during this process. And I would also like to say thank you to all of our Stevens staff for their dedication to their profession, especially this year, for the benefit of all of our scholars in this most challenging of school years. I'd like to thank the architects for their expertise and the way they've worked with us and been able to take our staff input and put those ideas into final drawings. And we're already starting to get to know the members of the team, Lee and Kevin and the team from Pence, to get to know them, and we're looking forward to working with them throughout this process. At Stevens Middle School, we believe that Stevens scholars grow stronger together. Stevens is a place where students, staff, and families are courageous, are caring, and connected, where all students are inspired to grow together and to develop individual determination for lifelong success. Stevens is proud to be an avid national demonstration school. What that means is we're a learning lab, a place where we use our best instructional strategies and a school-wide approach to build a culture of learning that develops individual determination and provides opportunities for leadership in all of our Stevens scholars. These new spaces will help provide important improvements for the future of the learning environment at Stevens and help us bring that vision to life. The 4 new general education classrooms provide permanent, modern learning spaces. All of our old portable classrooms will be removed, so we will actually be all together learning and growing together. We'll also receive 4 new science labs to increase the number of spaces that offer inspiration in the sciences for our scholars with 21st century modern science classrooms. Our cafeterias, as Lee mentioned, our cafeteria will be expanded, and we certainly are excited about that space. Enough space for scholars to eat, certainly, but to take advantage of the stage for concerts and events and meeting the community here at Stevens. This space is going to shorten lunch lines, sure, but really the bottom line is that this gives students more time, builds their stamina, opportunity to rest, spread out, and at the bottom line, ultimately helps their health and well-being. I want to take this opportunity to thank the voters of Salem-Keizer for their trust in us. On behalf of the administration and staff at Stevens, thank you for trusting us to be good stewards of this land, good stewards of these resources as we grow stronger together. And I'd now like to introduce our student speakers, which is really the reason we're all here today, the reason everyone has pulled together to make these plans become a reality. We have 3 Stevens scholars who are excited to speak to you today. We're going to start with Corelli Bedoya, and then Martin Munoz, and then we will end with Otoota Mele Letisi. Corelli, if you would come up first.
Hello, my name is Corelli Bedoya, and I'm a 6th grader here in Stevens. And as a Stevens student, I'm really proud to be learning here and growing with our teachers. Adams Stevens is a strong school, but with the new project, it will make it even stronger. We want to thank the Salem-Keizer community for passing the bond. This project will help improve lots of things at our school. It may help many students with their success and learning. There will be more space for us to grow and express ourselves. Having a school with no portables will for sure be something most students will enjoy. Being in one whole building will make them feel more comfortable and connected to the teachers and people around them. It will also improve the learning environment. Science is one of the biggest subjects getting a change. There will be more opportunities to learn science and do much more in modern science classrooms. The cafeteria is also a big one and great for incoming students and siblings. There will be more space for students to enjoy their lunch and break time. More socializing, more space to sit at and rest. So students return to class refreshed, energized, and ready to learn. Again, thank you, Salem-Keizer voters.
Nope. Hello, my name is Martin Munoz. I'm a student here at Stevens Middle School. And first of all, I would like to thank the Salem-Keizer community for passing the bond on to us. These changes that will be happening at our school will greatly contribute to student success. Some of the changes that will be happening at our school with help of the bond include 4 new classrooms, 4 new science labs, and a cafeteria expansion. These changes will give students more space to grow. It will be replacing the portables with a more permanent classroom space. It will give students a better opportunity to study science, and also with an expansion to the cafeteria means students will have more space to sit, eat, and relax so that they can be ready to learn. Furthermore, this expansion will not only benefit current Stevens students, but it will also benefit new or soon-to-be Stevens students by giving them a better space to learn.
Hello, my name is Otoota Mele Letisi. I'm a 7th grader at Adams Stevens Middle School. I would first like to thank the Salem-Keizer community for everyone's support in passing the approval of this bond. With this bond, Adam Stevens will be adding 4 new science labs as well as 4 new classrooms, along with a substantial increase in the cafeteria, as you probably saw on your way to the building today. Speaking from personal experience, Adam Stevens is an amazing school, but some extra space was well needed, and I can tell you will be well taken care of. Along with many of my fellow students, science isn't always the easiest thing to learn, and hands-on labs help more than anyone could ever imagine, so I'm eternally grateful. Coming from a Polynesian Mexican descent, I love this school because of the diverse representations we have, and I'm glad that with this bond, we as a school can grow, making Adam Stevens a place where students feel accepted and safe. I cannot speak for everyone, and I'll most likely not be attending the school when all of the construction is done, but this will help in furthering the future generation's academic success, thus making me a happy scholar.
All right, thank you all for speaking. Next, for the exciting part, I am going to call you guys up in small groups, and when I call your name, please come up, grab a hard hat from Carmen and Jacqueline, and then take your spot behind a shovel. We're going to pose for a picture, and I'll count you guys down, and we'll turn the dirt for some video. So in our first group, we'll have Mike Wolf, Virginia Stapleton, Jesse Lippold Pion III, and Nancy McMorris-Audix. Please come on up. Sure.
Okay.
So hard hats, place behind the shovel. I'll go ahead and try and get this out of the way. All right, so first, let's go ahead and pause for a quick photo. And in 3, 2, 1. Nice. Great. Oh, and you get to keep your shovels. Okay. Next group will be David Wood, Principal Wood, and our 3 students, Kareli, Martin, and Mele. Please come on up.
Ginormous. I need one set on ginormous.
Is it? Okay, yeah, try to that way for ginormous.
All right. Quick photo. And then on 3, 2, 1. Very nice. And you get to keep those shovels. All right, and our final group will be Lee Zumwalt and Dan Vasquez. Please come on up.
Yeah, let's put a third one in there, Joe. Hey, Joe, come on.
And Joe Bonanno.
Everybody gets a shovel.
You gotta put a hard hat on. You gotta put a hard hat on. All right, pose for the photo. And on 3, 2, 1. Nice. All right. And you get to keep those shovels as well. All right, that concludes our event. Thank you all for coming and for supporting our students. Have an awesome day.